Cool. All right. Well, sorry we're running a little late today, guys. Well, it sounds like it might be a shorter session anyways due to energy levels. Get rid of these pop-ups because they're stupid. All right. Is that here free real estate? Hold on. Is there... Please tell me I can find the GIF. Yep. There we go. That GIF is classic. Oklahoma. All right. Is everybody at their mics? Is everybody good to go? Or are we still waiting on some people for snacks, water, bathroom, etc.?
Well, I wish I had a cake, but I don't, so I'm here.
Okay. Mic's still broken. Okay. We will power through. If you can get the mic fixed, great. If not, we'll power through. We'll do the best we can. I'm sorry. Fox, are you still alive? I see your mic blip every once in a while, so I assume you're not dead. Neon, make it better. I'm sorry, I would if I could. I'm sorry. I'm dead. Okay, Fox is alive too. Okay, so we're down tie rope tonight, and we've got one player with a busted mic and one player with absolutely no life left. So this is going to be an interesting session. Cool. We will go ahead and move over here. Okay. I don't have Talina's temporary image up, and I'm not going to mess with it right now. Plus, the blacked out chat. This is honestly a great stream. We're off to a rip-roaring start, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know that last session we were missing a melon. This session we are missing a tie rope. And the next session, I believe we're going to be missing a monhold, if I'm not mistaken. Unless that was last week, which we didn't play due to something. I'm not sure. But all that said, last we left off in game, you guys had woken up the next morning at the Lucky Tankard. You guys had decided you were going to head back down towards the city council district, but however realized that Tippy, I can never get the name right, Tippy's newfound companion, her undead, her undead mount, so to speak, was in need of new clothes so as to not draw unnecessary attention to itself when, navigating around the city. So you guys decided to swing by the Central Market and visit a tailor that had been visited by Pipwick 2 days prior, or day prior, in an attempt to get new threads for this undead creature, a suit specifically. A few of you bought some other items that were there, and then in the process of leaving, Grigor noticed something out of the corner of his eye, that there was somebody that was watching the group, and something that kind of seemed like a blast from his past. Without thinking, or alerting the rest of the group, he bolted after this individual and attempted to chase them through the technicolor array of various market stalls and canopies and tents throughout the Central Market. Unfortunately, he was unable to track down the individual and ended up basically at the palisade wall of this Central Market district with no sign of his quarry. In an attempt to catch up to him, Helreia did kind of bolt after him, but was unable to catch up due to bumping into somebody else. And I believe Pipwick also followed, but successfully did follow Grigor and basically advised him probably shouldn't be running off. We've already had one issue of this. While that was happening, the rest of the group, kind of guided by Talina, opted to go a different direction, maybe try to head off the individual or maybe meet up in a different direction. Ultimately, the group did reconvene, unable to find whoever this mysterious onlooker that Grigor spotted was. The group then decided to meet up with Cassivus, sending him a message with the, I believe, sending spell. You guys determined that he was open to talk, but he was visiting a friend of his in the Temples district, which so happens to be just south of you. So you guys decided to go just a little bit south from the Central Market into the Temples district, where you guys had an interesting situation where just before entering the sort of square that makes up this large stone, square within the city, Tippy and her undead companion had a strange sort of effect that befell both of them very temporarily of some sort of radiant effect or damage, and opted to sit on the outskirts of this holy site due to their undead nature and not wanting to tempt fate. Whilst lingering on the outskirts of the square for a short bit, the rest of the group wandered into the temple's district, where Talina wandered into the holy site of I am forgetting off the top of my head which deity it was, but wandered into a deity's temple and had a brief moment of sort of reverence and prayer to this particular deity. The group spotted the location, or got some guidance, but also found the location of where Cassivus was supposed to be. You guys found that he was visiting a temporary residence of a visiting priest from a village far to the north in the Amarine Forest, and then wandered off with you to have a brief conversation in which you guys asked him some questions about the individuals that attacked Daxori and the rest of the group, as well as a couple of kind of curiosities about Tippy's current situation and a few other things. And that's basically where we left off. There were some questions that were posed to Cassivus and the rest of the group. Daxori got a little upset at some of the comments that were, I believe, made, if I recall correctly, and then has wandered away from the group. So Daxori is away from the group. Currently, you guys are standing under the shade of a large tree on the northern side of the temple's district, just outside the sort of invisible boundary that Tippy discovered. Tippy is currently standing on the shoulder of this undead person. Cassivus is still present. And basically everyone but Daxori is currently in the group kind of conversing.
Yeah, Dax blew up at Cassivus, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right. Cassivus made a comment about trying to, I believe it was trying to like maybe do business or something with the Iron Brand. He clearly trying to make a joke, but it came across wrong. And Dax was very upset by this and left the group due to Cassivus's comment. Before we just jump right...
Go
ahead.
Oh, this is something I remember. I don't remember him trying to make a joke. I remember him saying that he thought about doing business with the Iron Brand, but he didn't know that they were into slavery.
That's what it was. Thank you. Yes, he was unaware of their slavery links, and he was wanting to do business with them. And Daxori didn't care. She was very upset about that. Thank you for reminding me. It's been a few weeks. So before we just dive right back into picking up where we left off, because Melon was not here and I was playing Helreia, was there anything that Helreia would do in this current... we're not going to retcon too far back because I'm not going to replay the whole session, but is there anything in this particular encounter here on the northern edge of the temples that Helreia would either want to contribute to the conversation, ask Cassivus, or interject before we just pick right back up? Kind of like a 2-minute retcon in the sense of like, is there anything that Helreia would have done differently than how I played her just in this brief moment?
So I did review the VOD just to kind of understand things. However, it was glanced and I was going at 1.5 speed.
Sure.
What exactly was some of the conversation points that were had up to this point?
So the conversation points were mostly focusing around the existence of a new group popping up in the city called the Iron Brand, who I believe we've established in previous sessions that your character has some knowledge of this group based on history rolls and such, because this was originally revealed when you guys had your combat encounter during in the alleyway when Dax was ambushed. And so Grigor had asked some questions about an individual that he believed was here, but he was unsure if Cassivus knew about it. There were questions regarding the Iron Brand existing here in the city, and if Cassivus knew anything about it. Cassivus basically acknowledged that he was aware of a new group that was popping up in the city, and the individual that Grigor was describing had been spotted with this group on more than one occasion. So there was some sort of connection there. Cassivus indicated that he does believe that they have some sort of base of operations in the Riverside district, but he is uncertain as to their numbers, their goals, or anything, or any real details about them. In fact, you guys were actually the group to tell him that the Iron Brand has a strong tie to the slavery trade up north in the Skurrus Valley.
So if I can retcon a little bit,
okay,
because of background, and remind me, wasn't it the connection to Cassivus with Helreia in the past that led her to Darun in the first place from her prior area?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I caught part of that.
So Helreia left her prior city because of issues, and Cassivus was an ally, so she went with the connection to Cassivus down to Daroon. Is that, or is that not how it really worked?
I'm thinking. Because you're referring, just to confirm, you're confirming, you're asking about.
I'll go ahead and just say it out in plain text because I'm going to try and.
Okay.
I'm going to be bringing it up anyways.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
From Vibreo to Daroon. Back in Vibreo,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Helreia had met Cassivus, made a point of contact.
Yes.
And I was under the belief or the understanding that she would have tried to contact him to get out of Vibreo and come to Daroon.
Yes. Okay. I'm tracking now. Sorry, my brain was just not firing on all cylinders. Yes, that was the yes. Cassivus helped arrange transport. It wasn't so much smuggling you out; it was more of just arranging transport because it's a pretty big distance, and to go on your own would be dangerous. Especially considering you basically have to travel through the Sitgreave Swamp, which isn't the most dangerous of districts, but it's like not the most well traveled.
So, with that understanding and the conversation as such, Helreia would have put up the fact they're the reason I left Vibreo, and you didn't think to note to me or anyone that they were starting to catch root in Daroon?
Cassivus kind of gives you a look, and I normally I wouldn't. Normally you need to prompt me for this, but I want you to roll me an insight check real quick. We're also going to test out this overlay with the chat pop-up and see how it looks, because the issues we were having. Let's see how this works.
Okay.
Perfect. It works great. It works okay. Holy balls. Okay.
BS detector go burr.
Yeah, BS detector go burr. The facial expression he gives you before he even opens his mouth, you realize that it's the look of someone who's been caught. Not like they were guilty, but more like they were trying to avoid an uncomfortable topic, and you basically kind of hit the nail on the head, so to speak. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can fix this. He kind of looks.
With that, she would have mentioned Vibreo just for the group. It's a retcon, so I'm not like full.
No, it's okay.
Conversational right now.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, he kind of looks at you over, and as you kind of are recognizing his facial expressions, he kind of purses his lips a little bit, and then kind of. Listen, I understand where you're coming from. And yes, you are correct. I was getting wind that they were here in Daroon. However, I was uncertain as, one, if it was the same group of individuals or if it was a different chapter or sect, so to speak. And two, I wasn't sure what their intentions were. Were they setting up shop permanently, temporarily, or just passing through? And then lastly, this business was my own. I was hoping to keep things separate and keep you away from them. But clearly that's not the case anymore. So, with that being the case...
Understandable that you would want to keep them away from us. However, the whole reason I left that city was because they were looking for somebody who very, very much looks like me.
Yes, I understand. But you are quite good at remaining hidden, and so far have been quite successful, yes?
For the last 3 years, yes.
See? Like I said, if it was a major concern, if I thought you were in danger, of course I would have brought it to your attention. Cassivus does clock you crossing your arms and, like, shifting. He glances over, says, all right. And he holds both of his hands up. So, listen. At the end of the day, you are helping me with problems. I am paying you occasionally for these things, and I'm trying to help in any way that I can for you, and you can help me. I understand that there are going to be things that you do not tell me, and there are things I won't tell you. However, clearly this is a bit of a tension point, and he glances over to where Dax has wandered away. You have been very helpful to me, and with what happened at my den, and me being in a spot right now that requires me to rely on people beyond my immediate circle, I am sorry if I kept things from you that should have been spoken. And I vow right here and now, and he puts his hand over, he kind of takes his right hand and puts it over his heart. So I vow that I will be more transparent if there is anything that I even remotely believe would benefit you, and he glances to Helreia, or could put you in risk and or danger. Even if I don't believe it is a high likelihood, I will be more. I will attempt more in being forthcoming. As some of you know, and he again glances to Helreia, I am used to working a certain way, and I am being forced to adapt. With my den in shambles, and my operation questionable right now as to where it stands, and with this new organization moving in on my territory, and with the current unrest going on with the doctor's disappearance, I have to operate differently. So this is me vowing to operate differently. And he kind of bows his head a little bit, and he looks at all of you.
I'm gonna take a pause right
Okay.
there. I don't know if that was a slip up in character or like just a turn of phrase. The doctor is missing, or the doctor's wife.
No, remember the whole reason that you went to, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. The doctor's wife. Sorry, doctor's wife. My bad. That was me slipping up. My apologies.
Okay,
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure before I started
No. You're
shouting at him of
Nope.
like, you what?
No, you're good. It was the doctor. You guys have not spoken to the doctor because you keep missing him, but the doctor's wife is who he was referring to. I apologize. That was my bad.
Okay, I just wanted to.
This is what happens when we skip too many sessions. I start to mix things up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
That said, he just gave that. I will hold you to your word. Because as you know, that is the strongest bit of reliance and trust we folk have.
He nods.
And I'm sure the rest of you have questions. I can answer them later.
He glances
There's
over.
no use hiding anything else from you guys.
He glances over towards Kyria. Is Kyria's arm still crossed? Is she still kind of looking at him in a certain way?
She was.
Okay.
Not since he said that the wife is missing.
Okay.
To which, now that Rhea is done with her piece, I would say his wife is still missing.
Yes. Her last reported sighting from any one of my contacts was your party. I don't say lose track of her, but her last sighting was in her house by you. No one's seen her since anywhere in the city. I've yet to check in with my contact in the city council district, but outside of that, she's not been spotted anywhere. And it was very unlikely she made it to the council district without passing through any number of other districts. And I personally haven't heard from Dr. Arkwright either, but I heard word that I believe he is currently in the council district somewhere. But again, my contacts have gone. Most of my network has gone quiet. As soon as word got out that my den was attacked, thankfully, I don't believe word has gotten out as to what or who attacked it. But once word slipped through the underbelly of the city that my base of operations was assaulted, most of my network has gone silent.
Some of them might think you're dead.
Some of them do believe I'm dead. I've had to meet with many of them individually, quietly, to reassure them I am in fact very much alive. But until questions begin to be answered, I can't just poke my head back up. In fact, the very fact I'm standing here in the temples in broad daylight is a risk. However, I'm banking on the fact that whoever did attack me probably isn't going to come near the holiest of sites in the city. And as he says that, he glances over towards Tippy and the undead creature, and his not full health sort of stance, as evidenced by its protective nature, and kind of points. I feel a little bit safer here. However, as soon as I leave here, I plan to immediately go back underground, so to speak.
Wait. Are you saying you running from zombies?
He glances down. No, I'm not running from zombies.
Okay.
I'm hiding from whatever the hells it was that attacked me and Pipwick inside. I'm sorry, Spitwick inside of our home.
Okay. You implied like they weren't allowed to get in here, and
Honestly, between me and you, and he kind of runs his hands through his hair. He says, honestly, between you and me, I don't know if this is protective or not. I mean, the holy, the clerics and priests here have kind of placed a holy protection on this place and have for a very long time. Not to mention, many people believe that because the temples is one of the most traveled to places in the entire region for worship. Many people believe the gods themselves have sort of protected this spot. I'm hoping and praying, quite literally, that those creatures are vulnerable to the holy, magic and power. Quite honestly, I have no idea if they are. I've never encountered those creatures before. I don't know much about them.
You worry more of those creatures will show up?
He glances back to you and says, well, they haven't since. And the fact of the matter is that I have had Spitwick go back and investigate occasionally under the cover of darkness, of course. And so far, there's been no sign of any additional trespasses or any sort of damage being done to the home. So my original theory does seem to hold water.
But you're also saying that whatever is keeping our friend and her friend out of here could just all be in their head?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you don't know if there's actually like protection in this area, so the fact that they can't.
No. I know that there's protection here. What I'm saying is the creatures that I'm hiding from, I don't know if they're susceptible to the dangers here. The holy.
They are.
You don't. And he looks at you, Kyria, with like genuine curiosity. Like he's genuinely wondering if you have some answers for him.
There are a couple of spells that do affect a variety of creatures, but I don't believe the ones that attacked your den would be affected by those spells.
Interesting. So you don't believe radiant or holy magic has any additional effect on them? These aren't...
Unless they are undead, no.
That's true, I suppose. I just, I guess it made me feel a little bit safer, but quite honestly, maybe it was a placebo on my effects. But he glances back to Pipwick. In answer to your question, there is holy magic that does radiate around this site, and creatures that are of an undead nature, such as your two friends here, or one friend and companion, not sure, they are susceptible to it, for certain. Whether or not these... What were they called again? I believe one of you learned the name and informed me of it. And he kind of glances around the group.
Let me see if I have it in my nose, because if I do, then I know.
I was about to say, I think it was Dax who learned the name, and she stormed off.
It may have been. It may have been Dax, yeah. And I will say, to clarify, Dax storming off, because of the area that you're in, everybody can see Dax way in the distance, but she's like she's nowhere near the group, but like the area is so open that like anyone who glances over at any point can basically see a very striking red individual just kind of wandering around this big stone courtyard, so to speak. Because this is a very large area, but it's also open. It's not like a bunch of alleyways and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, and she's like wandering around by herself, kind of like a tourist looking up and kind of being in awe at everything.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. Like the architecture here is very different, and some of these temples are older than the other architecture in the area. And then obviously there's statues and stuff. So this area definitely is eye-catching in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she's just being her usual Dax self, and having been the first time she's seen really any of this, she's being
She's just soaking it up.
She's being her touristy self.
Love it. Okay.
I have an extensive enough notes from after the fact to know that I know what they are, so I can answer his question.
Okay, go for it.
Those creatures are called, I believe, slads.
That's right, yes.
Not undead, so less
yes.
protections for us, and they are drawn to chaotic or wild magic. Don't know where they come from, though.
Interesting.
Whether they just came from somewhere or whether they were summoned, it's no idea.
What is... Apologies, I have a few tricks up my sleeves, and as he says this, he kind of moves his hands in sort of a wavy fashion, and you see some arcane weave elements start to appear around his index finger, his pointer finger, excuse me, and then basically kind of twist and wind and weave between his other fingers in sort of this nice little wave pattern as he says this. I have a few tricks up my sleeves, but I am not a practitioner of magic beyond the party tricks that I understand and know. He kind of looks at the whole group and he kind of leans in a little bit and says, what is chaos magic? I am familiar with holy magic and learned magic like wizards and such, but I am unfamiliar with chaos magic.
Question.
Does big dragons count as chaos magic?
Is that a DM question or is that a god?
No, that's
question?
a Pipwick question.
He kind of looks and says, Dragons? No, they have their own innate magic if they even exist still.
What if you create one?
What, create
Sorry,
a dragon?
Melon.
I'm confused. And then, sorry, Melon had a question. I assume above table.
I have a general question. Rhea wants to try and hide a look on her face. How would I do it?
Well, tell me what you do, and then I will have you make a roll.
Rhea is doing her best to remain in a stoic face and just look like she's listening to the conversation.
Okay.
When in reality she has that little bit of knowledge and doesn't want to pipe up about chaos magic.
Okay. So she's basically trying to trying to have a poker face, essentially. Like, oh, I know what's going on.
Basically.
But okay, gotcha. In that case, it's going to be I'm gonna say, because you're not doing anything other than basically trying to have a poker face, I'm gonna say that'd be a performance check.
In contrast to that, I want to roll an intelligence to know exactly how much I know about chaotic magic.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll me for it won't be an intelligence. It'll be an Arcana.
Arcana.
Yeah, Arcana check would be for that. So you just take your roll here and add your correct modifier when it finishes, unless you cancel it or something. Or
I can use a guidance for it to see what I can recall.
Okay, yeah. So with a 14, that's going to be against. It's going to see if Cassivus notices this. So give me a second here. I have to go find his sheet, even though it's in here. I know it is. There it is. I haven't opened his sheet in a minute here. Okay. Oh my gosh, Founder, you need to stop. There we go. Okay.
Boundaries being slow, I did see the end result of the die rolling around.
Yeah, it's being a little slow, but it'll populate here in a second because I have it set to a public roll. But okay, so you're trying to maintain this poker face, and he glances at you, and you see him kind of squint just ever so slightly as he looks at you and kind of tilts his head to the side. And then, but he doesn't say anything. He just kind of you see. I'll say that based on the roll here, you see that he clocks your poker face. But he doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at you for kind of a longer beat than maybe you'd think. And then
Rhea, trying to keep from getting completely clocked, actually tilts her head in response, like, "What you looking at?"
And then he mimics the movement. He goes the other direction with his head to mimic your movement.
Now, Keith.
Yeah. What did so you rolled a 22 on your Arcana check?
Yeah.
Okay. So with an Arcana check of 22, you would know as a adept spellcaster at this point, he just starts mimicking. You would understand that chaos magic is no, it's 22. So with a 22, you know that chaos magic is a couple things. One, it is a term that is used to define magic that people do not know its origin or source. But you also know, with a 22, that is not the end of that. You do know that there are studies and practitioners out there that are attempting to harness literal chaos magic, which is magic that is formed through literally an unknown source. It's like, divine magic is bestowed by the gods. The druidic magic comes from nature. Sorcerers have an innate ability within themselves and their genetic bloodline. Wizards learn things through spell scrolls and tomes. But chaos magic is kind of an unknown known, so to speak. People know it, that it exists, but it's by its very nature chaotic, and thus it is hard to harness or really truly define where it comes from or how to summon or control it. Very few practitioners exist. I do remember I believe it was your studies, where you were the one that was studying some of that in the library, correct? Was that you?
No, it was Rhea.
It was Rhea? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
you-
having godly visions.
Yeah, you studied something in there, but okay. But you do know some of this, and you know that there are
Studied
historic.
undead.
Oh, that's right. You do know historically that there are practitioners that exist throughout Adalia and the known world that have attempted to dive into this, but you don't know any of them by name. You don't know anything beyond kind of like the best way I can put it is like, the the mythology that exists around chaos magic. You don't know the practicality of it or how harnessable it is. Like, you know it exists, but it's more myth than fact at this point for you.
Would I be able to, with the fact that I know a bit about those things as well, tie that knowledge with the special rock that brought Tippy back to life?
If
Like
you,
a loose connection is it like not a, oh, this is definitely that thing, but like is there a possibility?
sure, you know what? For that, we're gonna do something a little different here. So as you're thinking about this, I want you to make me a D20 roll, and I want you to add your, for the purposes of this, for mechanics of it, roll me an Arcana check, because you can add your modifier to it. You can also add your guidance to this if you'd like. And then Tippy, can you do me a favor?
I did not bump my guidance this time, but
Well, just add.
After I roll.
Yeah, just add a D4. Yeah. Okay, so you've got a. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so you've got. Okay, so you rolled a 12. Okay. Tippy, can you do me a favor? Can you roll me a D20 and add 2, please. Perfect. Love it. So as he asks this question, Kyria, and you're thinking back on your studies and your knowledge about magic, and limited though it may be, obviously, to a particular lane, your mind starts to kind of drift between what little knowledge you have about the topic and the mythology around chaos magic and your wonderment as to its connection. This is all happening like very quickly in your head. And you glance over. Where is Tippy keeping the stone that brought her back? Fox. Where does it currently reside?
I don't think we figured out where to put it.
Well, I know that you got a little bag. You got like a little tiny bag of holding, basically. And it's not, because the stone shrunk once you held it. It went from like a large shard to like a much smaller shard for you. Like for you, it's like the size of like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Neon. I want to say, for your context, the reason I'm trying to make that connection is because from earlier I know that slads are drawn to, and you told me specifically, like places where chaotic or wild magic is at its peak. And so I think, well, there's a looks like a stone that brought somebody from the dead or something like that. So that's why I'm making that connection. It's not just out of the blue.
No, I know. I didn't think it was out of the blue. You're good. So I believe, Fox, that we had said that it was inside the bag of holding, because obviously you don't have pockets. So basically anything that you carry has to kind of go in that bag.
Yeah. That works.
Okay. You glance, Kyria, over to Tippy, just kind of almost instinctually, as you kind of are forming these thoughts in your head, and you kind of eyeing her bag. And as you do, you feel this, like, it feels like time stops for you for a minute, and everything around you kind of freezes. You yourself are in full control of your faculties. Nothing's changing for you. But the world around you goes quiet. And all you can hear is sort of a wind, sort of like a soft wind that's kind of blowing through the area. That's like the sound of the birds stop. The sound of the trees rustling stops. Your friends all are standing there, but everyone seems to be completely standing still. And you glance over at Cassivus, who you were just talking to, and he's mouth open, mid-conversation, just looking at you, stopped, frozen.
Do I see anything else, or
Everything's the same. Everything's exactly the same, but everything seems to be like stopped for a moment. And as you kind of glance around, you realize that anything beyond the immediate presence of like your group and the objects there, and it's like the edge of the tree next to you, the stone that makes up the floor you're standing on, etc. Anything outside that circle is now like a blurry like background, like colors are merged together, kind of like a watercolor that's just been smudged all the way around you. I'm trying to find a wind sound effect and it's not working. But that's basically like, it's like almost like you, like the area around you is maintained, but everything beyond that seems to be like a distant memory, sort of, so to speak, visually. What happens? Do you do anything in this moment? You're aware of this for a brief moment.
I think first thing is I would grab my holy symbol quickly to feel if it's coming from that or if it's something holy.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. That was not what I wanted. As you reach for your holy symbol and grab it, it's warmed the touch, and you glance down at it, and it's glowing. God on it. I hate this. Trying to find the right sound effect. But yes, the symbol around your neck is glowing. It's warm to the touch, and I give up on this. And anyways, you feel that presence start to emanate from you, and as you kind of glance up and look around you, you realize that this is clearly being caused by the Everlight. You feel like she's kind of grabbed you at this moment in time. You don't see her, you don't hear anything yet, but you can kind of sense that. You can make it out.
I'm
There we
going
go.
to focus on that feeling.
Okay. As you focus on that feeling, that wind that I mentioned before picks up. And suddenly the blur from that background starts to encroach and encroach and encroach till suddenly even your friends, everything around you is like I said, a smudged watercolor, where it just like it starts to swirl around you in almost like a very slow tornadic fashion, where all the colors are getting blurred and mixed together until it is just you standing in this kind of grayish multicolor that creates a gray effect space, and that spinning picks up and 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 picks up until it feels like you are standing in a storm, but it's not affecting you. You don't feel your hair getting blown in any direction. Your clothes aren't being moved. You do feel the kind of rush of wind across your face, but it doesn't feel as strong as you think that it should be. But that feeling kind of passes after a moment, and as this is happening, and you're focusing on that feeling, and you're clutching your symbol, the symbol is glowing, and it's basically the only source of bright lighting in this sort of weird slip space that you're in. And after a moment, the space around you that feels to be encroaching on you and creating this almost claustrophobic feeling, it starts to expand. The wind is still going. The spinning is still seeming to happen. The colors start to get darker and more purple and blue, and less gray. And it keeps shifting to these darker tones and these darker tones as it's expanding from you. And it feels like you're inside of a spinning multicolor bubble. And as it's expanding, it's getting darker and it's getting more luminescent in various ways, but it's also staying kind of dark. And you realize the colors that you're seeing remind you of the night sky, of the astral sea high above you, way up and outside of the plane. And it keeps going, and keeps going, and keeps going, and it keeps expanding till suddenly you feel like you are standing, well, really floating in some pocket of the astral sea. You see around you, you see stars in the distance, you see stars that appear closer, you see galaxy-like shapes off in the distance and colors, and you see chunks of something that's just floating in this endless sort of space. And as you again clutch your talisman, do you do anything else as this is happening kind of quickly?
I don't think I do. I think I maybe slightly shift my focus to what is probably coming and what's about to happen.
Okay.
not in a defensive way, but kind of in a, waiting to see what it is way.
Yeah, and as you kind of shift your focus to a direction you feel you're being pulled, you notice there's something that's forming in what appears to be the distance, like way out, kind of to your front left. And as this vision, as you've now determined, is expanding, and you recognize that what you're feeling is real and what you're seeing is real, but you recognize you're not moving, you're not just floating, your feet are standing on something. So you recognize that there is a mentality to this. There is a vision to this beyond you're not actually been teleported somewhere, but it feels real at the same time, and it expands. And you notice what you're looking at. It looks like a best way I can describe it to you would be like an asteroid, like some sort of large hunk of floating rock that is kind of crystalline in shape. It's pointed at one point, it's jagged on the other, and it's just kind of floating. And then you see another, and then another, and another. And what you realize you're looking at as this vision expands, even beyond what you can now identify as an expanse or an end, you realize you're looking at this massive floating cluster of some sort of rock or crystal or something hard, something tangible. And there's hundreds of these things all floating in what, as it expands and you look at it, you recognize there's a shape to it. And what you see is this massive shape that has been sundered in all these pieces. You recognize they're kind of floating near each other, but it looks like someone took a huge 1,000-foot, 2,000-foot, who knows how tall rock, and it exploded and sent shards and clusters in all directions. And some of them are stuck and some of them are further out. And it's just floating there in this astral space. And you recognize that it looks like a rock, but then you also notice there's clusters of it that look to be multicolored, and you recognize some of them are transparent. You see some of these clusters have arcane light sparking out of them. Some of them have gaseous forms floating around them. Some of them seem to be made of pure light. Some of them seem to be made of pure darkness. I mean, it's just, you're almost overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things that you see in front of you that appear to be making up this shape. And as the vision expands, and you're clutching your amulet, your talisman, and you're looking at this, the wind keeps making its sound and its effects near you, but it feels like it spins the other direction, and suddenly you can feel your hair kind of gently to one side as you recognize the shift in rotation has changed, and you watch as all those clusters slowly and then quickly, as time speeds up, starts to actually reform. And you watch as something is reversing, and you realize these clusters start hurling back towards each other, and this massive shape that has clusters and chunks missing out of it suddenly reforms. And after a couple of moments of looking at this massive rock column that who knows how big it is and how far away from it you are or how close you are, you're unsure, has reformed, and it is this huge what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a obelisk, but it's pointed on both ends, and it's just floating in astral space. And it looks like it looks natural, but it also looks made, but then it doesn't, because it's made of too many kinds of different materials that don't go together. You see bone floating around one of it, like it's like swirling around one section of it. Then you see lightning sparking out of another section of it. You see smoke coming out of one. You see light pouring out of another. You see a bright purplish glow coming out of another section. I mean, this thing is just an amalgamation, a conglomeration of every kind of material you can possibly think of in this perfectly shaped, like double-pointed obelisk, basically, that's just floating in space. And after it completely reforms and is all solid together, the wind stops once again, comes to an abrupt halt, and dead silence as you're just floating in essentially space looking at this thing. And a couple of seconds go by, and then for no reason, without any cause or provocation, a massive explosion erupts from the interior of this thing, and light erupts from it in various multitudes and colors and styles and sources, and just erupts. And you actually have to shield your eyes as the light is blinding, And as it explodes and sunders in all directions, you're back in town. You're standing in the square at the temples. And the rest of you guys look over at Kyria as Caspis is waiting for a response from her. And she's standing there guarding her eyes with one of her hands, like randomly out of nowhere.
Did I notice if that obelisk thing after disassembled had any pieces of it missing?
So you noticed basically what you saw was in reverse. You looked at something that was shattered and sundered in all shapes, and then it reformed and then exploded, right?
All right.
When it was in its original form, when you saw it, that was just floating, there was so many pieces missing. There were entire... Oh, go ahead.
Glimpses of Tippy's rock when she
you've
was
seen
first
it.
brought back. Does it look like it could be one of those pieces?
I will go ahead and loop that into your previous rolls, and I'll say that you're uncertain, because obviously the thing that you saw was massive, and the thing that you've seen physically here was very, very small, but it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Okay.
You also recognize in this moment, as you're kind of coming back, back to reality, so to speak, that your emblem around your neck is no longer glowing and is no longer warm to the touch. And for the rest of you guys, what you guys just witnessed basically was Cassivus looked to Kyria for an answer on something, and then in less than 6 seconds, essentially, she looked over towards Tippy, zoned out for about 6 seconds, kind of looked around a few times at nothing, and then violently reacted by like throwing her hands up to block herself and shield her eyes. And then she kind of looked around at all of you. And Caspis just raises an eyebrow and looks at you.
You do that a lot?
I want to make another roll to know as much as I can about what just happened, because that has never happened to me before.
I mean, you can roll for it. I'm not going to make you roll for it if you don't want to.
Okay.
You've never experienced a vision like this, but you do recognize the feeling that you had whenever you've communed or had meditation with the Everlight.
Okay, so I can be somewhat confident that that was her.
Correct. Yes. You know that was brought on by her, that she caused that or gave that vision to you. You've just never had something that visceral before.
Okay. I would look at not Spitwick.
Pipwick. I do
The
it all.
other
I've done it. I'm the other short one.
I haven't said your name out loud yet, so this is the first time I got it wrong. Good start.
It's all good. All good.
It's only uphill from here.
Yeah. I look at Pipwick. I say, that was the first time, actually. I think I just had a vision.
Kind of like look over to where you were looking when you shielded your eyes. Anything cool in there?
You look over in that direction, and everybody kind of follows your same gaze. And basically at the angle of it was, you were basically just staring back towards the temples. Like you were just staring back towards the different shrines and cathedrals that are over in the temples area. That's not too far away from. And basically the only thing you see that catches your eye is you see Dax wander by, and just like a kid at a candy store, looking up at the massive statues and looking up at the edge of the main cathedral in the center. And that's all there's nothing bright. There's nothing dangerous. There's nothing that's exploded or anything that's like scary over there. The same thing that was over there 2 minutes ago.
I get the whole party to look directly at the sun.
Well, I was thinking how to answer your question, Cassivus.
Yes.
And
do you have a migraine or a headache of some kind?
so that you are not left wondering, chaotic magic is mostly magic that is either unknown or comes from unknown sources.
All right.
Now, the slads that attacked your place could have been drawn to a powerful source of it or some powerful connection. And as soon as I thought that, I'm going to look at Tippy again. I thought about the very special stone that used to be in your possession. And then I saw something that could or could not be it. So you might not be in danger anymore.
Because I no longer possess the stone.
Because you no longer possess the stone.
Aha. And he glances over towards Tippy. Well,
Wait. I got questions.
And he kind of looks back towards you and down towards you.
So if chaotic magic is like magic from like unexplained areas, then that means that there's people that have learned to harness magic from unexplored areas and use it to like their benefit. Say, I don't know, they all of a sudden learn the ability to raise the dead.
Possibly. And he looks at Kyria. I believe. Possibly. Yes.
Possibly. I would say that, but I also kind of shrug a bit. Bringing the dead back to life is an old craft. Where it exactly came from, I don't know. But there is no reason it can't be part of chaotic magic.
We need books. We need all the books.
Well, I believe I sent you over to the library already. Did you not visit it?
I didn't look hard enough the first time.
Ah.
The lady in there, she's a huge fan of me, don't worry.
As he says, did you not go there? And kind of ahs to Pipwick. When he says he's glancing and kind of giving a side eye to Helreia. Because remember, he clocked your facial expression before. And now he's kind of giving you that look. Like, what are you hiding? What are you keeping from us?
Kyria's zoning out now.
I gotta go find the pinned message now. Gosh dang it.
Now that Kyria's answered the question to the best of her ability, she's zoning out and starting to think about that vision.
Okay. And you can, if you want to expedite that, Jesse, if you have questions that would be like Kyria questions, you can DM them to me and I'll try to respond.
Okay.
Yep.
I did manage to find some things regarding chaos magic. Mostly practitioners or scholars looking into it.
Really? So Mr. Pipwick's theory of someone actually harnessing this and learning it is not far-fetched.
I adjust my monocle.
I will have Rhea kind of put her hands to her waist with her left hand covering her right, covering the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's been done in the history books, just never safely or even leaving the practitioner standing in this plane.
What do you mean not standing? I'm right here.
In her head.
Yes.
Wrong plane of existence.
Semantics.
Cassivus kind of raises an eyebrow. I suppose, by the very definition of the word chaos, it would not surprise me if it's not exactly the most tame of magics to learn and harness. Any of these scholars alive that we might be able to speak to them or get some questions answered to this, and potentially what dangers we might all be in? Because while it is mildly comforting, as he glances over to Kyria, It's mildly comforting that I may no longer be in personal danger due to no longer being in possession of this stone. And he glances over to Tippy. I won't lie, it concerns me that you all would be in danger due to something that I got my hands on.
There's not like a name tag on that rock, is there? Like a
I'm
property
flipping
of...
a coin. I'm flipping a coin.
Like property, was that what you said?
Yeah.
I didn't see one when I took possession of it. And he looks over to Tippy. You didn't by chance see a name on it, did you?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, you know how like builders and architects, they always put their initials in like a subtle place on their works. Maybe somebody left a mark of something or another.
I don't know about a mark on anything. However, in my short amount of research, one person came to mind that it's not claimed that they're missing or dead. But they're also just a legend at this point.
Legend implies I no longer exist. I am here.
In her head, talking back, not you.
Like a song legend or like not like a really, really discreet one.
Have any of you heard of the Red Mask?
Have I heard of bardic tales?
Bardic Tales. Give me a second.
I chose this one specifically because this is the one who was basically the Robin Hood and stealing.
Yep, give me
and
one
being a rogue with
second here. I'm trying to. I have found my my notes. I'm trying to find that one. Give me 1 second. There it is. Okay.
It's like
oh,
a
you know what?
Robin Hood,
You know what? Roll
maybe.
me a history check.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Can the rest of us join on the history check?
Yeah, anyone who wants to roll a history check, because she asks it verbally, so anyone who heard her ask about the red mask can roll me a history.
Get that bardic knowledge to good work.
I'm trying to.
Here, while everybody's rolling that check, give me 1 second. I gotta grab something from my bedroom.
I'm trying really hard to.
Else is going to roll to that.
I'm trying really hard to like piece things together right now.
Well, Pipwick did just get the oops slip up that the person we were kind of looking for was the disappeared wife. I don't know if he caught that.
Yeah. No, I caught that.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Pipwick's neurons are firing real hard at this very
All two
moment.
of them?
Yeah, all two of them are going crazy. One of them might be lost after this.
What even is his intelligence score, if I may ask?
Talina would roll, so would someone like to roll for Talina, or do you guys want me to roll for her?
What's her
Her history is +1. Ooh, that's a good roll. Nice. Okay. So, Kyria, you hear the question and you think on it, and you've never heard the name the Red Mask before.
I was also letting Cassivus give a guess too.
Sure. Yeah, we'll let him roll. Let me find his sheet again. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, that tracks. I know about Green Hood. I don't know anything else.
Wait. Why is that? What is?
He has a tactical mind.
He does, but I misclicked. I actually don't remember what that does. Give me a second.
He applied military knowledge to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's appropriate. Yeah, no, that is not appropriate. Yeah, he doesn't get that. He just rolled a 12, not a. Oh no, wait, no, he rolled because he has a +3. He rolled a 15. Okay, so you guys, you asked the question: have you ever heard of the Red Mask before? Kiri, you are not familiar with this name. You've never heard it before. Pipwick and Cassivus. I'll start with Pipwick since Cassivus is an NPC. Pipwick, you've heard not of the necessarily like a person. You remember bardic tales and songs that have existed for quite some time. You kind of learned them here and there from other bards you've bumped into or other places where you heard them performing about the tales of a powerful and unique individual that donned a red cloak and mask and basically used this previously unseen and wild form of magical abilities that fantastically were used to disrupt corrupt nobles and to basically Robin Hood, rob from the rich and give to the poor, and would be like a trickster and leave kind of mocking notes and symbols to taunt these individuals that can never capture him, and would conduct these elaborate and just fantastical heists that were like completely just like so like there's no way these were actually real. These were just, fluffed for these songs, right? To make the song flow better, and then disappeared one day and was never seen from again. And it's believed that he's out there somewhere. He's donned a new costume and he is still messing with nobles and he's still giving to the poor. And if you ever hear of like some big theft that happened of very rich people, people will say it's the Red Mask, he's back, and things like that. But it's always like these. It's a fairy tale basically. It's songs that are told to embellish and puff up something that is probably more in reality is probably something much more simple. Cassivus also recognizes those similar songs. Rhea, you that was
Telena.
That was Telena. Yeah, Telena, the same thing. Telena recognizes the existence of these bardic songs and these tales and these stories that have been told throughout the years about this fictitious and fantastical red mask.
I'm just gonna kind of tilt my head. Anybody heard anything about real big burglaries happening lately? Specifically to prominent figures?
Casper's kind of
They're
shakes his head.
happening. They're not happening here. But that is the only one in my research.
I
That,
look at Helreia.
What? That one was out of character. I'm sorry. Yes? Or are you just looking towards
I
her?
look at the rest of the party to see if anyone remembers.
Okay, and then looks back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as she's...
Monhole got it in chat.
Oh, I missed it.
Monhole, would you say that out loud?
Okay,
no,
fair.
Grigor wouldn't say it out loud.
Fair.
Okay. I would say that there was one, actually. The Arkwright residence, the mostly kind of reason I was there. They got robbed. We didn't figure out who it was or why.
There were some missing signs given the sort of effects left behind by the Red Mask's magic. I have to keep going back and forth to my notes. Every time he would use his magic or his spells, there was a eye-like shaped mark left. If he used any magic in the building, he wasn't leaving any notes, leaving any signs. He was in and out, and that's not like his MO. Unless it's changed over the very long period of time.
If I may as well, I do believe that the Arkwright residence was robbed by the Lowhoods.
That is the understanding.
Who's that?
You would actually. So I'm not gonna make you roll for it. You would know the Low Hoods, Pipwick. They are a street gang here in the city. They're thugs. They are just petty theft, robbery. They mug people. They do occasional like extortion of shopkeepers. The old hey, pay us money and we won't burn your shop down because we're quote unquote protecting you. Wink, wink. They mug people who are getting off of ships temporarily in the Riverside district for quick cash. They will break into some people's homes and steal things and sell them on the black market. Like just your standard criminal group. They're not
They've
very
probably fucked with me at least once.
Yeah, at least you. I'm sure they've effed with you, or you've pissed one of them off and gotten kicked or beaten up a couple times by them. Like they're not all that smart. They're threatening when they're in large groups, but when it's like one or two of them, they're more an annoyance or like a joke. None of them are usually very smart. Like these are like just your typical average street thugs that are not smart basically. But what you do know. Oh, go ahead.
I found
something to the past. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go.
What would you say the current stated like? So, as I saw, the Red Mask was around during the Arcane Age.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be our current age, or would that be a different time period?
The current period of time that we are in is the Arcane Age. It's otherwise referred to as present day. So the stories of the Red Mask being from the Arcane Age are basically within the last several hundred years, because obviously the ages don't progress crazy. Basically, I'm trying to.
I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that it wasn't like thousands of years ago.
No. It would have. The stories about the Red Mask probably have existed within the last couple hundred years at most. Like, could potentially have been shorter. It's one of those things that no one really knows where the legends started about the Red Mask. So it could have been like 200 years ago. It could have been 50 years ago. You're not really 100% certain on the specificity of time due to simply of the fact that this is sort of a mysterious person and a mysterious presence.
So Rhea will just kind of finalize the talking point. Like, the Red Mask is the only other documented person to use chaos magic that still exists within our era. Supposedly still exists because nobody knows where the heck they went.
And I'm guessing there's not like a lamp we can shine in the light to bring him in here, huh?
DM, I would like to deception this because technically Rhea is semi-practitioner or learning into chaos magic.
Okay, so go ahead. What are you deception? What are you decepting?
When I said the only known user.
Okay. In that case, I mean, you can roll me. We'll do this. Roll me a deception check, and I'll just tell you if it succeeds or not based on a number. Although based on a nat 20 and your freakishly high modifier, I'm going to say, yeah,
you're even want the nat 20 in this case.
You're real clever on that. I mean, you can choose to fail a roll. Like any player at any time can choose to auto fail a roll. You don't have to see if it rolls low.
Retract that roll.
Okay.
And just be like, it's clear Rhea is not telling everything regarding chaos magic. I want to continue the plot.
Probably the only time in recorded history someone has gotten a nat 20 and said, "Nah, I'm good." So
one of the only times.
Since you are choosing to fail, I'm not going to say it's a crit fail. Obviously, it's a check, but it's a failure enough because of you choosing to that everyone in the group can visibly tell that when Helreia says the only known practitioner of chaos magic that could exist within our era or our timeline, everybody notices that, like, her poker face is slipping and she's hiding something.
She's still covering up her ring and kind of starting to fidget with her hands.
And you know what? I'm gonna help you out with this as well, since I see what you're trying to do with this. While you're doing that, and you say the only known practitioner, your ring glows a purplish glow that you've seen it do a couple of times in the past. Like in various circumstances, so it's not unknown to you. But everybody watches her ring underneath her hand starts to just softly and then start to glow and then emit a soft purplish pinkish light.
What do you mean the only known practitioner? I'm offended by this. How dare you? You and I both know. Oh, wait.
You're a little out loud right now.
And you guys all very faintly hear that, like, a voice kind of emanating in the area. Like that voice that you guys just heard wasn't as loud as it was to Rhea, but everybody else heard it.
I'm gonna look at Rhea, who kind of I would assume that you react to it a little bit.
Yeah,
or-
she's kind of winced and then still covering with her hand.
Yeah, I'll just look and be like, "You gonna answer that?"
I don't have a phone. I don't have a phone sound effect.
All that she said in reaction, out loud still, "You're a little loud right now."
Sorry.
Okay, I lied. There's more than one practitioner.
Clearly, you going to? And he's just like Casper's just glancing around into the air. You going to introduce us, or?
Holding up her ring just on display, kind of close to her, but still holding her wrist. Tharzun Quebblemarch.
As she says the name, all of you guys, in the same time, in front of her, think of a hologram from Star Wars, but instead of blue, it's sort of like a glitter smoke sort of apparated shape of a pinkish purplish color. See this humanoid take shape in front of you. And this individual appears in front of you, and it is a elderly, could be human, could be half-elf, you're unsure. He is wearing long draping robes with sort of an astral sort of visual to his robes. He has a large amulet that's hanging around his neck made of some sort of metal, can't tell due to the lack of color. Very big, long, grayish, potentially gray or white beard that comes off of his cheeks and his chin, and he has a big poofy mustache. And basically think, what's his name from BG3? What's his name? The guy that you meet with Gale.
Volo?
No,
Oh,
not
with
Volo.
Gale.
No, Gale's like mentor that he's always eating food. What's his name?
Oh.
I can't remember his name. The wizard character from BG3.
Elminster.
Elminster, yes. Think Elminster as far as just like big beard, very flowing robes, and he's standing in front of you. And as he apparates, he kind of dusts his arms off and
Hello, pleasure to meet you all. Tharzun Quebblemarch at your service. And he bows.
he bows.
I'm
sorry.
going to say, Rhea's just still kind of looking weirdly down at her hand and the ring now as he's appearing, because has this actually ever happened before?
This
projection?
This has never happened to you before. You've seen it glow and you've heard him audibly as opposed to inside of your head. This is the first time he's apparating in a physical manifestation.
So yeah, Helreia's just kind of confused and looking at her hand and the ring, just like...
As you do that, he turns to you and says,
My apologies, this takes a lot out of me, and I can only do it once in a while. I figured this was the best way since they hurt me.
Hipwick's eyes get wide.
Secret's out.
Do we get 3 wishes now?
Well, I'm not a genie.
Oh,
The Jinn are a whole different species and a pain in the ass.
Time is ticking.
Yes, time is limited on me being in this form. I apologize for the secrecy. I appreciate that young Helreia kept up her end of the bargain.
It's been years now.
Yes, it has.
Still working towards that contract deal.
But in answer to the questions that are being posed about chaos magic, yes. I am the other one. Supposedly one of the only 2 in existence.
are you alive?
In a manner
Very
of speaking.
much so.
You don't have to say it with such contempt, Helreia. I have been nothing but kind to you.
You have, but you have been giving me migraines for the last, 10 years?
Has it been that long? My, how time flies. But yes, I am very much alive, in sorts.
And he points with he kind of waves his hand over towards Helreia's hand, where you see the ring is now glowing very brightly with the same color. And I won't make you a roll for it, but basically what you can tell is if you look closely, you'll see like a soft drifting sort of faintly visible, like glowing sort of dust effect that's like drifting off the ring off her finger and drifting into the air and sort of wafting with the wind. And then it hits and it starts to like expand. And it looks like there's a visual tether between this apparition and the ring.
But while I am alive, I am stuck.
And it's been my job to find a way to get him unstuck. It hasn't been going well.
Well, it hasn't gotten worse.
No, I will admit that.
So this entire time, you have been carrying around a ring that has an old man on speed dial, and you guys just have conversations with each other?
When you put it that way, it sounds so much worse.
It's not exactly that simple. What is speed dial? I need to look into that.
I'm pretty sure it's I wouldn't even know at this point. I'm very confused and.
If I may,
And he holds both his hands up.
if I may, please do not be too harsh on Helreia. Parts of the contract dictate that I'm allowed to break the secrecy, so to speak, around my existence for my own protection. She could not. At least sinisterly. But the reason I am here, and even haven't been before the past, is because the area that you are delving into regarding chaos magic is dangerous. Highly volatile, so to speak. The very nature of its existence, as it's in the name, is chaotic. Who knows what the side effects can be, including getting trapped in a bloody ring. But I digress.
And he looks over towards Tippy, and he tries to, like, you see his form try to like walk towards Tippy, and it stops a couple of feet away from Helreia, and you kind of get the sense he can't go any further, even though he kind of wants to.
You, my little friend, I believe are in possession of something that holds immense power. In fact, something that I didn't believe existed until I, Bruce Helreia, saw it. That shard is beyond normal comprehension of magic. It's dangerous, but if harnessed correctly, can be quite powerful and give you abilities that otherwise may not be possible. I'm going to research these more. I've read about these. I don't recall the exact details. It's been thousands of years. You forget things, but give me some time. I will see what I can find out about these shards for you.
Would you happen to know if it's a piece of a bigger one?
I believe they are. I need to double check my research. There were scribblings about something of its nature many years ago, and that's coming from me. Most likely, this is a shard of a larger construct. If it is, and it is what I think it might be, it could prove interesting, but I will need some time to confer with my books and research. Thousands of years of information must be sifted through. Thankfully, some of my magic abilities in my tower still work.
And the connection is strong enough to give me some abilities as well.
Indeed. And who knows, as I grow my knowledge and abilities, that may translate over to the young Helreia here.
I have a question.
Shoot.
This is Tippy, by the way.
Yes, my little friend.
How does your ring read?
What? No, hold on. I am not a ring. I am stuck in the ring. Me and my entire wizard tower.
There's
if
just
we-
still a ring.
What if we took you to a volcano and threw the ring inside of it? Would it free you?
For the love of all
You'd
the
have
gods,
to
please
throw-
do not do that.
You'd have to throw myself in there too, because this thing is stuck to me.
Well, there's that, mixed with if you destroy the ring, I'm still inside it.
Trust me, I've tried smacking the ring physically against objects.
Yes,
That
and you
does
took a
not
chunk
help.
of my chunk of my tower fell away when you did that.
I am sorry, that was 6 years ago. I
No,
was
no.
still panicking.
One does not know until one experiments. But
And as he says, "But," you guys notice that his body gets jolted back a bit, and he kind of looks behind him, and the sort of glowing, dusty effect that's coming from the ring is like starting to kind of pull back towards the ring.
oh dear, out of time. I will return. Yes,
If
quickly.
he wants, I was gonna say, if he wants to continue, I want to try and see if Helreia can force the connection to stay longer.
Ooh, okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I want you to roll me, and it's gonna be.
I was gonna say her spell modifier type deal with her charisma check, but
Well, yes.
know.
Let's do this. Roll me a d20 plus your plus 4 for your spellcasting ability.
and
To start with.
I will state, would you like this at disadvantage just because it's a weird thing?
Nope, I have a different way we're gonna handle it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sending it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, she's
Ooh,
fumbling
okay.
hard.
So as
Hey, actually,
do you want to use
I
your
would
info?
No, you don't
my
get to take that 20
inspiration.
back. You don't get to take that 20 back.
I'm using my inspiration.
You're like, I'm gonna take that 20 I denied like 5 minutes ago. Okay, you can use your inspo though.
Nope.
That you can do.
Inspo, and that's better.
Okay, all right. So with a 19, you notice that the connection between his corporeal apparated form and his presence is waning, and he's starting to, whatever is allowing him to be physically here is deteriorating or fading. You basically hold your hand out and kind of like tap into your abilities that you've gotten from him and try to keep him here. But to do this, I'm going to require you that you need to burn one of your spell slots. So your 2 pack magic slots, you need to go ahead and burn one of those.
Fair.
Can I look around and see if us Obi-Wanning an old wizard is drawing the attention of anybody walking around?
Go ahead, roll me. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check. In fact, also,
Right,
can
actually.
I get on the flip side of that, Dax, can I get a perception check from you, please? Because you, while wandering, are still technically in the area.
I could flub that this is a major illusion.
I would say, for the purposes of this, even if it was a major illusion, it'd still be noticeable, so it wouldn't really matter.
If anybody asks me, though, I could try and deceive that it was
Yeah.
a major illusion.
So
Don't worry, I can talk us out of this.
So
Dax knows nothing.
Nope, Dax, you were enamored by this statue that is just like 7 stories tall. It's absolutely gorgeous. It shows this massive depiction of Tyr, one of the mighty gods, standing there with a helmet on his head and a big spear, completely oblivious to what's happening not too far behind you. But Pipwick and Kyria, as you guys, with your very high perception rolls, scan the area around you. Thankfully, where you're at is not a main thoroughfare, but you do notice about 20 yards away, kind of behind the group, back kind of, if I can look at the map here and kind of give you an example. So you guys are standing basically under this tree here. There's a side street that goes over here, and just like part of it can almost kind of look in your general direction a little bit, and you happen to notice that there's a like a young, maybe like a teenage girl that came around the corner, and she kind of has her head cocked sideways looking in your direction, but she's just standing there kind of watching, and she just has this like very perplexed, like the Jack Sparrow watching his ship sail away, but the crabs underneath it, that sort of facial expression. But not like aggressive, not like I'm gonna come like, what is that? I'm not scared. It's just like, huh?
Yeah.
We could always send Sean to talk to her.
Or just body block.
We are quite the party, I will say.
Yeah, well, very much so.
I just waved to that girl.
I just start talking a little.
Kyria waves,
I
and the girl just like slowly raises her hand, like even with a perplexed face, just kind of slowly waves back, like not sure what to do. And what does Pipwick do?
I do like a wizard pose, and I raise my voice a bit.
What is a hold on? What is
And
a
I go,
wizard pose? I need to know what that is.
Like the quintessential comic book wizard
Like
pose.
like Mickey and the Sorcerer's Apprentice standing on the rock with his arms outstretched, casting a spell.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
And I raise my voice a bit and looking at I go, you see, Cassivus, the key is you focus. I can make it look as real as I want. It like I learned this in illusion school.
Roll me a deception check. And I'll give you, because you rolled so high on the notice and you saw this, and so you're trying very hard to do this, I'll give you advantage on the roll because Caspus is also going to help you. Boy, good thing I gave you advantage. He kind of goes, oh, yes, of course. It's fantastic. I quite really need to learn my my arcane abilities much more. Yes. And he like glancing between you and Quibble March and then the girl over on the side, and the girl just kind of keeps waving and looks and just kind of like shake, like closes her eyes, shakes her head a few times, then turns around and walks away. This all happens basically while Helreia is burning the spell slot to maintain the connection and keep him here longer.
I don't know how much longer I can hold it, but you have a few more minutes.
Oh, thank you, my dear. Yes, that helped immensely. Thank you. Anything else that I can help with before I am yanked back into that thing?
Any other major questions, or did I put in effort for nothing?
Just my big question that I asked earlier.
Which was?
If there is this unknown magic that people can harness power from, does that mean that potentially our friend over here is using the stone to harness powers that they didn't have at one point?
I'm unsure if that is happening. I am unsure if it requires a deliberate decision to use the stone for one's purposes, or if the stone acts of its own accord. I would make a rather, if I do say so myself, educated guess that if I recall correctly, she was unconscious and was brought back by the stone. So, in theory, one could argue potentially the stone does act of its own accord. In which case, yes. Possibly. Maybe. Unknown at this point.
Two counterpoints. So she was brought back by this stone, and I kind of like look around because I wasn't there.
Correct, you weren't there.
Yeah. So I just look for like an affirming nod from anybody.
From anybody.
Was Rhea present during that?
No, well, yes, she was in the space, but she had just woken up from also being down, so she was like climbing back to her feet after getting thrown across a room.
And was kind of hobbling towards.
But I
the
will
party
say,
at that point.
I will say, everybody was at the tavern, sitting around the table together after it happened, and was like kind of present while you guys were kind of troubleshooting what happened, kind of figuring things out, and realizing that like she was back and things were different and stuff. Because Talina was there.
Talina was there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Talina was there. I will say
Like
Talina would absolutely give you, because right, actually I take that back. Talina would 100% give Pipwick a nod because she was literally there when it happened. So Pipwick would have seen a nod from Talina. And actually she'd probably say, I'm not going to attempt to do Tyrope's voice. Yes, the stone was in Caspus's hand, and when he displayed it, it flew across the room from his pocket, actually, to Tippy's hand, and she came back up.
So potentially two things. Tippy could have signed a contract with the stone for, hey, I bring you back. Now you got to do some stuff, kind of like your ring. And 2,
Rhea's gonna glance at Quibble March. Wow.
He glances back and shares a look.
And 2, if it's acting on its own accord, she could just freak the fuck out at any time, and none of us would ever see it coming.
Listen, I have gone a decade with this. I have not had a single moment of clouded judgment with my magic usage. Then again, I've been very subtle with it all. And only recently have I tried doing very odd things with my magic.
Well, and to clarify, the connection I share with Helreia is a contract. It is an agreement that was struck. Yet Helreia does maintain a certain level of independence. But this is not that. This is an object that, unless it's like the ring, which I highly doubt, has no patron-like entity. But again, I need to consult my books.
I look over at Sean. Yeah, she's being real subtle.
He just groans.
I wouldn't panic just yet, my little friend. Give me some time. I will come back with what information I find. I do believe I have writings on the topic. I've collected quite a library.
And he walks over to, as far as he can, to Tippy. It's not really, he can't. It basically is 2 steps, then he kind of has to stop. And he's probably...
Because he keeps walking closer, Rhea will walk with, like, the freaking owner leading a dog.
Yeah, he basically can go about 10 feet.
The dog lead.
Yeah, like where you're standing, he can go no more than a max distance of 10 feet away from you where your ring is. So you don't have to walk too far, but far, like a little bit, where he can get over to Tippy.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, and he gets closer, he comes up to Tippy and he kind of leans down a little bit.
Don't worry, my little friend. I don't believe you're in danger, but I will get answers and give them to you as soon as I can. I sense that you don't want to be like this forever.
Dead? No. Powerful? Yes.
I like this one. Yes, I'll be in touch.
And he stands up and kind of walks back to you, Helreia, kind of standing in front of you.
I appreciate the extended connection. I will adjourn myself, and we'll be in touch.
He turns.
And to all of you, apologies on the deception thus far. Thank you for the kindness. It was a pleasure to meet you all, and we'll speak soon.
And as he says that, he snaps his fingers, and it gets basically turned into sort of a dust, and it just sucks back into the ring like a little tornado. And as that happens, the ring dims and is no longer glowing.
Good to know that his magic is the purpley stuff and Rhea's magic is the prismatic color.
I forgot to wish for 1,000 more wishes.
He wasn't a fucking genie. Congrats. You know one of my deepest, biggest secrets.
One?
One. Pretty sure I have not shared the other one with you. Or the other few.
Cassius' eyebrow
Listen,
raised.
if the anywhere as big as, hey, I can just talk to a dude through an accessory whenever I feel like it. You have not told me any of the other ones, I promise.
So, with that, and Cassius giving Helreia the look, Rhea's just gonna give a look back like, no, I did not tell him about the thing, the whole Heidi in plain sight thing.
He doesn't say anything.
I don't notice.
Anyways,
Or even
I feel
attempt
like
to.
we've given enough attention here. We should probably clear out.
We probably scarred a little girl for life. Let's be honest here.
She was just
I know
confused and
this.
just wandered off. Like,
Hey, Tippy. Whenever we're standing in an alleyway, can you position Sean next time, just in case he comes back?
What position am how?
Just standing menacingly, blocking whatever's going on behind him.
Isn't he standing menacingly already?
He has never stood normally. I can tell you that much.
basically, right now, he's just kind of, he was just standing in the grass under the tree. You're standing on his shoulder, and he's just kind of standing there. And this was all happening kind of in front of you. And, like, the girl that was witnessing this was, like, off to Tippy, like, off to your right. Like, over, like, so basically where Grigor's token was, this is kind of where the girl was, and you guys are over here. So he was just kind of like, he was just chilling.
I guess we're just. How am I supposed to block more than one exit with one guy? I need more.
Get more guys.
I'm sorry, what? We need more undead things?
Oh yeah, we have a quota we're trying to meet.
They
but I have an
a
army.
Quota. I have concerns.
She wants an army. I want a union. We kind of have this verbal agreement going on.
Oh dear. All right.
Don't worry, Kosovis. I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. No promises.
Talina, I will as well.
Don't worry.
Kyria, would I know that you kind of like you're pretty tuned into your divinity? Like there's a pretty good deal of respect about this place coming from you.
Right.
Okay, I will look over. Probably a really dumb question, but bear with me.
Oh wait, was that an above table question to lead?
Yeah,
into...
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So he
yeah,
was
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
Okay, so Riggsy was asking Jesse. I gotcha.
Yeah. Unless you say it's okay, I'm not gonna put flyers here.
I probably wouldn't.
All right. I promised to behave today. I'm gonna behave.
Thank you.
Cassivus leans over. However, if you want me to put flyers and places I'm disappearing to, I'd be happy to.
Oh yeah, and I take a stack of 25 of them and
He
just
takes
hand them
it
to him. Go ahead.
Takes and
Spread
tuck
the
them in his
word.
coat. And don't worry. And they won't be here. They'll be elsewhere.
And tell Spitwick to join the fight.
Sure, of course. He snickers as he stands up and straightens his coat. Very well. Well, please apologize to Dexori for me. I did not mean to upset her. I understand that I must have touched on a touchy subject. That was not my intent. I will make my leave, and hopefully she'll see me depart and feel comfortable to come back. I will be in touch. Right. Should you need to find me, as obviously my den is no longer safe, leave word with Durnham at the Lucky Tankard. He knows how to get a hold of me. He does now, anyways. And we'll be in touch as soon as I can. Otherwise, the method in which you contacted me today is perfectly fine. Don't forget, I also still have... And he pulls out one of the stones and holds it up. Unless you'd prefer me to give this to you, and if you need to contact me, you can just use the methods you've done thus far. And he holds out the other stone as an option.
Are you sure you can't just imbue yourself in a little ring and then I can talk to you whenever I want?
He rolls his eyes. The best I can do is I can... And he snaps his fingers and a little fire appears above his finger. That's about all I've got.
Damn. All right.
Snaps it again. The fire goes away. Like I said, I'm not quite the practitioner your friends are. But if you wish, I can loan you the other stone. Otherwise, I will hang on to it. And he holds out, and he's holding another sending stone in his hand if anyone wishes to take it. Otherwise, he'll pocket it.
I can kind of do this whenever I want. So if one of you guys wants to take it, be my guest.
I think I might take it.
He holds it as you reach for it. Of course, yes. I'll just do the same thing you did today with your magic contacting spell of whatever kind it was, and or leave word with Durnham. But I'm going to make myself scarce once more, and hopefully, as you pointed out, Miss Kyria, I am no longer in danger. But I will give it some time to let that breathe and see how much. I still have many contacts I need to reassure I am not dead. So he nods.
Absolutely. I mean, take what I've said with still a grain of salt, because I only know so much. What I said is an assumption. I hope right one, because, well, we do have numbers when it comes to defending ourselves at all times. So,
Of course, yes. And I will, as I said, that will be the reason why I'm going to keep myself on the lower end of things for quite some time. But hopefully your suspicions are correct and everything's fine. But until then, I will maintain a lower than normal profile. As well as I have Spitwick running all sorts of messages all over the city, since he's a little more nimble than I am. So if you see him, say hello. But otherwise, I bid you adieu, and I shall see you soon. And he nods to each of you and turns and kind of straightens his coat and walks off to the basically this direction. Here we go.
I don't know about you guys, but my brain hurts so bad right now, and I sit down, like on the ground.
Like holding your head. Like
Yeah.
You're not the one that held a connection without knowing how to hold the connection.
Yeah, but I'm the one that figured it out. That it exists.
Rhea in her mind to Global March.
Mhm.
I understand why it was necessary, but were you really going to be that petty
What do you mean, petty?
about me hiding things?
No, of course not.
You'll have to teach me some of what you know.
Trust me, I will. I have a lot of research to do. I've already gotten through quite a bit of it. Time progresses differently here. So far, some interesting things are turning up. Nothing concrete, but given a little more time, I should have some answers for you and your friends.
Understood. I will, I guess, keep my own research going.
Yes, anything you find, of course, I'll be here, but this is an interesting predicament, my friend, and it requires a delicate approach.
I have some theories on how this might work, and I'll discuss them with you at a later time when my head doesn't hurt.
Yes, sorry about that. I'll give you some space.
And he fades from your mind, and you can feel that presence kind of leave you a little bit.
The migraine has cleared slightly.
Yes, exactly. The headache the Advil has kicked in. Real quick before we go any further, at one point during this, I saw that Helreia cast a message, and that it was a message sent to, I believe, Daxori.
It was.
Yes. Did Shadow? Did you see that message? Uh-oh. Do we still have a Shadow?
No, kind of.
Okay.
I'm starting to do it.
Okay.
I understand fading has been happening
Yep.
between a few people. It's
Well,
been a
and-
lot of blab from a lot of other people.
Yep, and we're reaching that point where people are going to start getting super tired, based if they're out on the East Coast. Before we,
But yeah, message. Dax heard it. Gave the mental middle finger and ignored it.
okay, so in that case, you didn't get a response, Rhea.
And because I didn't get a response immediately, I just sigh and keep an eye on Daxori.
Okay. Unless you say otherwise, Shadow, I would assume Daxori is still wandering the temple grounds because it's obviously just a big stone concrete area, basically.
She's not wandering anymore per se.
Mhm.
She's now kind of hanging out towards the exit or the way that they came from.
Okay.
She's just kind of hanging out there, waiting to see people start coming in that direction so that she can start walking and still be going in the same direction, but also be away from the group.
Okay. All right. So basically, just kind of orbiting the group, like staying just like with it. Okay, gotcha. Okay. And I'd say with that, you do see Cassivus depart from the group and leave in the opposite direction of where you're at, and the rest of the group standing underneath the large tree. And you, at this point, at no point, I'll say, did you see the apparition of Quibblemarch? So you just see the group kind of standing there talking to each other quietly. So yeah, so since that's all kind of sorted, we've only been going for an hour, just under 2 hours. How is everybody's energy levels doing? I know it's kind of been an off day. I just want to check with people because we haven't been going that long, so I'm happy to keep going. But if people are just too tired, we can obviously make it a short session. Monhold's good. I think Riggsy's probably good if I had to take a guess.
I'm chilling.
Yeah. But I know that Fox and Shadow had really long days, and they're also on the East Coast, so I'll be accommodating as much as I can.
I unfortunately do have to dip because I have another long day.
Okay.
I am okay, but I've also slightly been distracted trying to piece all of my notes together.
Sure,
and I am
yeah.
ready to show you the entire web of mess that I have come to terms with.
Okay. How's Kyria doing? How's Jesse doing?
I'm fine.
You're fine? Okay. So Tippy, you're
Grigor, how are you?
He put a thumbs up in chat.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So if Fox is dipping, we'll say that Tippy is gonna just kind of stay on Sean's shoulder and kind of follow the group, if that's cool.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
forget what our main goal was after this.
You guys
waiting
were-
until a certain point to go to the gates, and because that was basically a Telena thing, I think we need to wait for
Well, you
Ty.
guys did need to go back to the market to pick up your suit order,
True.
which needed a few hours. Which
For the
is
decomposing guy.
for the decomposing
few-
guy. Yeah.
A few hours.
Zombies.
Helreia may make a suggestion. Since a few hours should be able to walk back to the Lucky Tankard and then walk back to the market. She did want to grab that tattered, fancier dress that she has
Okay.
for draconic thread. I forget the frickin'
You had it right. Yeah.
draconic threads.
I think it was draconian threads. Draconian threads.
Draconian threads. I
Yep.
was
Sorry.
close.
Yep.
Because she wanted to get that mended after the attack.
Okay. Okay. So Helreia wants to travel to get her some stuff.
If anybody wants to join me, that is fine. We can set a meetup location. Rhea is pretty decent at blending into the crowd and not drawing attention, and as far as I'm aware, the description isn't going to match. But also, I'm sure people have questions because of all of the freaking exposition I just dropped about her past.
Yeah, any groundbreaking realizations or revelations that anybody wants to share so I can just stomach this all in one go?
Is that directed to anyone in particular?
No, it was directed at everybody.
Talina just kind of possibly some other time, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know.
Agreed. Another time. But I will let you all know what I was discussing with Cassivus. There's no reason to hide it from you. It's been weeks. If you were going to turn me over to anybody for my actions, you would have done so already.
I raise an
If you
eyebrow.
even knew what I had been running from. Anyways, I
I'm
would
an
like to
illiterate
head...
goblin that lives in barrels. Do you think they'd actually trust me if I tried to turn you in?
Selena snickers.
It depends on who you talk to and what information you give them.
I ain't no snitch.
I appreciate that. Though I would like to go grab that dress that was ruined and take it to Draconian Threads. It is all the way back at the Lucky Tankard, so... Any takers to go with me? Any other activities we want to perform?
Depends on the amount of ruined. I might be able to save you money.
That would be amazing if you could. It has been a few days, but I believe all that has happened is a gash in the thread. I believe I can clean the blood out of it, even though it is red.
I'm sure we'll manage.
Am I gonna need something thicker than leather? Hanging out with you guys? Somebody gonna like come up and try and stab me in the kidney or something? It's happened before.
Thicker than leather is always a good idea. I have been thinking of trying to find something, but I don't believe any of the common traders would be carrying such things.
Alright, I'll keep it in mind.
DM.
Hmm.
Helreia having underworld connections, would she know of anybody in, say, a black market of sorts that might have more exotic and better equipped armors and equipment?
Sure. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and have you roll a history check to see what you can remember as far as connections and such. I will, and I'm not gonna have you advantage to me straight roll, but it's not a very high DC on this.
So normal roll or advantage?
Regular roll,
Mentioned.
straight roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
12.
Okay. You do know that there's contacts throughout the city that do sell other things well, not other things, but that sell things other ways and or have items that are sometimes illegal, sometimes just not properly, taxed or anything like that. So you know that there's some people you can go to. You know that most of them are going to be in the Kestrel Village district. Some of them are in the Riverside district, along the waterfront, basically. You know that you're not going to really find anybody that's going to deal in sort of illicit goods south of Riverside or west of Kestrel, because once you start getting up onto the plateaus of the upper city of like residential districts and things like that, you're getting closer and closer to the seat of government, aka you're getting closer to the guards and where they start to care more about crime and keeping it quelled and such.
Would I recall if Kestrel or Riverside might have a equipment dealer or someone who specializes in that sort of goods?
Yeah. You're probably gonna have your best bet. Well, you say equipment like armor, things like that.
Armor, maybe some weaponry, maybe some other
Gotcha.
goodies that might have acquired.
Gotcha. Give me a second to.
And of course, Rhea would probably have been a customer at some point in the past, and
of course,
possibly
yeah.
remembered.
Yeah. Well, and any sort of connections that you would have had, you would have been directed to by Cassivus, so you know that there's that connection as well. Give me 1 second here to sift through my copious, semi-organized notes. I mean, they're very organized. It's a lot of clicking.
We really need to determine what the heck the connection was to Cassivus back in Vibreo.
Oh my gosh, I cannot find things. There we go. Oh, I did that twice. Oh, well done me. Okay. You would know that more than likely you're going to find your best bet in Kestrel Village, as Kestrel Village is considered, the lower city, but it's also not near the river, so it's not where commerce is typically done. It's where kind of the squalor is, kind of the slums, so to speak. There is, there is a major thoroughfare that goes through there, so there's some amount of foot travel and trade, but for the most part, people just kind of like leave Kestrel Village to itself. Therefore, there's a higher chance of getting things there. You have been there before. You don't remember the name of the place, but you remember where to find it. And it's a bit of a walk. You have to obviously head down from the plateau to the lower area down into Kestrel Village, and you've got to wander back, kind of over towards oh wait, that was actually from the other game. Wait, no, you guys went to the Verdant Rest, didn't you? The apothecary.
Yeah, we went to the Verdant Rest.
That's right. Sorry, in my head I was thinking that was my other game because they were over there for a minute. Yeah, it's kind of in the direction of the Verdant Rest.
Okay. I know a place for...
That's right. Grigor went there. That's right. Yep.
And because Pipwick has asked, I do know of a place that might have some higher quality or rare equipment we might be able to acquire, seeing as one of us is being hunted, possibly two, and we may or may not have targets on our back.
I think at this point it's safe to assume that we do have targets on our back, and we should probably be a little on edge about it.
Daxori is still orbiting, correct? But my question is... Okay, Shadow is still here. For now, Shadow? Daxori is still orbiting, correct? Also, are you doing okay? Tire? Sorry?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
If you need to call it Shadow and have Dax kind of linger on the outskirts, so you can go get some sleep, that's perfectly fine.
Well, what was your question first?
I was going to say, my concern is, would Dax follow the group at a distance if we moved towards Kestrel Village, or would Rhea need to try and get her attention?
No, she would follow. Still orbiting, of course.
Cassius did leave, so
Yeah, she don't care. She's still pissed.
In that case, I'm also going to note, I'm starting to fade as well. I don't know if
Okay, well, I mean,
is,
if that's the if we're dropping like flies, we can call it here and try and pick it up again. I just wanted to make sure we got as much playtime as we could, but I'm happy to call it here if need be.
Yeah, I don't mean to kind of assume control or command of anything.
But if you guys are tired, you're tired.
I do suggest it's a cut point. It's kind of a good cut point too.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that if you guys are. We can definitely do that. We've been going now
fine with me.
Yep, just almost exactly 2 hours. 1:59, 28, 29, 30. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll end it here, and we will pick it up again, I believe, next week.
I won't be around next week.
Okay. That's right.
I think
You were the
two
one. That was...
people won't be around next week.
That's right. Next week was the week we had to skip. Okay, so it'll be in 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's no problem. All right. Well, thanks guys for playing. Thanks guys for watching, and we will pick this up again, I think, in 2 weeks.
Sorry, you was Shoutout.
No, it's all good.